What are the odds to flop that?
Well, our stats man tells us the odds against flopping a royal flush are 65,000 to 1, the rarest hand in poker. I'm Barry Tompkins, along with my partner Howard Lederer. Two players at our table tonight, Patrick Antonius and Phil Ivey. Many people feel the two best cash game players in the world.
Well, until the recent tragic passing of Chip Reese in late 2007, I just wouldn't have agreed. He was my #1 player. But now, I think you do have to put these two guys at the top of the list. They combine that rare combination of a willingness to gamble with talent that it takes to succeed in the rarefied air of the biggest cash games.
And the action will begin with Phil Ivey.
4 and 8 blind, no straddle this hand.
Ivey at 10-6, he'll throw that away. Kagawa looking at an ace-5.
He's going to toss it. A lot of players in this game would be playing that hand.
Tony G folds as well. Chris Ferguson squeezing out an 8-9 suited.
A nice solid drawing hand for relatively late position. And he opens for 2,400, representing two big cards, but he actually has a medium drawing hand and position.
Gus Hansen folded. Now John Juanda with a 6-7 suited.
Another strong drawing hand, and he calls 2,000 more.
Antonius will fold. So two players will see the flop. On the flop, Queen 4-3, no help.
Well, Juanda has flopped a gut shot, and he does check. We would expect Chris to bet, taking advantage of his position and representing the queen, and he does bet 4,000.
And John Juanda will call.
I think some players might have actually check raised.
6 of diamonds on the turn.
That gives Juanda a pair, but Ferguson has 2 overcards and a flush draw. Check, check.
And a 6 of hearts on the river. So trips for Juanda.
Well, if he knew Chris's hand, he'd be checking here. It looks like he's reaching for some chips. And if he does bet here, I'd expect Chris to lay it down quickly. Juanda will pick up a small pot.
And Juanda is going to bet 13,200.
Well, unless Chris is going to try something tragic and fancy, he's just going to lay it down, and he does.
So Juanda will take the $14,300 in that pot. An easy laydown for Chris, and as we're about to learn, that's not the only thing that comes easily to Chris Ferguson.
Being a professional poker player gives one a lot of free time to develop other hobbies. I've already mastered the art of throwing cards, and since I'm here in Australia, I figured I'd give throwing a boomerang a shot. And to help me out is 2-time world champion Robert Krull.
So Chris, welcome to Australia. I'll have you out there throwing and catching boomerangs just like the Aborigines did. When you hold the boomerang, you hold it just like you would hold a pen. Your wrist is back. This part of the boomerang is parallel with your arm. You snap the wrist forward as you throw the boomerang from behind your head. Before you throw this one, I'm going to teach you with a practice boomerang.
Good idea.
Boomerang goes around.
That's easy.
Well, we'll see. Okay, off you go.
Nope.
That's it. Put your hand up. Oh, good try. Okay, looking good. Just like the jaws of a crocodile. Perfect.
Well, you know.
Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to have a throw of the wooden ones. So that goes out quite a ways.
Wow, look at that thing. That's amazing.
I want you to catch it just like that. That's pretty good. Just duck,
Watch
duck.
out, watch out.
If I yell duck, that doesn't mean there's one flying overhead. That's it. That's exactly what you want. Now that should hover. Just wait where you are. Now it'll come to you. Good catch. Well done.
All right, let's go hunting. I'm ready to go hunting.
That's pretty impressive. I have tried that, and it is not an easy thing to do.
Well, Barry, I've tried it as well, and you can ask my dogs. They're not happy I did.
Thank you. And like a boomerang, Elia Lesra has returned.
You went here, I flopped a royal flush. Wow. Flopped a royal flush.
How much action you got?
0. Absolutely. I checked all the way. I was last to speak. I checked. I was going to check the river just for fun. I should have checked the river.
First action is going to be with Tony G.
And for some reason, the straddles have stopped. We're actually playing the 4 and 800 blind structure now. Tony G limps in with a king-queen.
Ferguson folds. Hansen will call.
Gus has been awfully quiet so far in this game. Limps in with a 5-3 suited. Dangerous drawing hand if the right flop hits.
And John Jawanda also calls, as does Ellie.
I really like ace suited in deep stack cash games.
Antonius called, so did Ivy. And Kagawa will check. So 7 players to the flop.
Well, anything can happen in a 7-handed flop. Wouldn't want to venture a guess till we see this all-important flop.
And here is the flop, a 5 and a pair of 4s.
Well, pretty much a big miss for a 7-handed flop. We have 2 players who flopped a 5 for 5s up, and we've got Jawanda with a gut shot and an ace draw.
Check around to Hansen.
Well, he's certainly not going to check his pair.
Going to bet 4,400. Jawanda will fold, as does Alezra and Antonius. And now Phil Ivey will fold also. Over to Massa, who's also paired his 5.
Looks like Massa's going to call. Certainly counting it out here.
Could have done that.
And he does call.
Now the action to Tony G.
I thought about it, but I wanted you guys to.
And he folds.
Well, obviously this hand's a very likely split here.
10 of hearts on the turn.
Check.
Well, now Gus Hansen can't make the best hand, though he could certainly make Massa lay it down, as he does count out a bet here. Massa can win, though, if he hits an 8 or a 10 on the river. If it comes to 10, his 8 kicker would outkick Hansen.
The bet was 12,200.
Even though we know he can't lose, this is a tough call, and he does make the call.
And the river is an 8, and Kagawa is going to win this hand. He'll check to Hansen.
Well, is Gus going to fire another bullet? Not likely, and if he does, I think he gets called. No, he checks.
2 pairs.
And Kagawa is going to win a handsome pot, $40,000 in that pot.
Certainly a handsome pot for a hand like 8-5 offsuit.
Really nice win for the amateur, but meanwhile, our defending Aussie Millions main event champion is having a hard time getting on track. We're coming back.